Do you often wake up tired, even after spending the whole night in bed? Does sleep feel more like a challenge than a moment of rest? You're not alone. In fact, more than 50% of older adults report having trouble sleeping, and yet, most never talk about it. Why? Because many think it's just part of aging. But here's the truth: poor sleep is not normal, and it's not harmless. Sleep issues can slowly steal your memory, drain your energy, increase your risk of falling, worsen chronic diseases, and even shorten your life expectancy. But here's the good news: there are natural ways to sleep better starting tonight. You don't have to rely on sleeping pills. You don't have to just accept it. And you definitely don't have to go through this alone. In this video, we'll explore why sleep becomes more difficult as we age, what hidden factors might be disturbing your nights, and how to reclaim deep, peaceful rest without medications. From sleep-friendly evening routines to what kind of light helps or harms you at night. From common medical issues that go unnoticed to gentle, science-based strategies that restore your natural sleep rhythms. Yes, there is hope, and the first step starts now. Margaret's story is not rare. It's the story of millions of seniors across the United States, Canada, the UK, and Australia. Sleep struggles don't just affect how you feel, they affect your health, your relationships, your safety, and your sense of peace. This video is your guide to understanding what's really happening inside your brain and body as you age. We'll break down complex science in simple ways. We'll use real examples. And we'll share tips that are practical, natural, and grounded in research from trusted institutions like the National Institutes of Health, NHS, and CDC. If you're a caregiver or a family member, this information could change the life of someone you love. And if you're a senior yourself, let this be a turning point. Your nights can be restful again. You can reclaim the calm, healing power of sleep, and it starts with knowledge, awareness, and small, consistent changes. Are you ready? Let's begin. Have you ever wondered why sleep just doesn't feel the same anymore? You might fall asleep faster than before, or much slower. You might wake up in the middle of the night and stay awake for hours. Or maybe you rise at a.m., alert and restless, even though you don't want to be. These changes aren't random. They're deeply connected to how our bodies and especially our brains evolve with age. Let's start with something called the circadian rhythm, our internal clock. This rhythm is controlled by the brain and tells us when it's time to sleep and when it's time to wake up. In younger adults, this rhythm is strong and stable, but with aging, the signal becomes weaker. It's like a clock that starts ticking off beat. This makes us feel sleepy earlier in the evening and causes us to wake earlier too. Then there's melatonin, often called the sleep hormone. Melatonin helps regulate our sleep-wake cycle, but as we age, our bodies produce less melatonin, and we release it earlier in the day. So by the time it's midnight, your body might already be done sleeping. Another change happens in the sleep architecture, the structure of sleep. We spend less time in deep, restorative sleep called slow-wave sleep and more time in lighter sleep stages. That means it's easier to wake up whether it's because of a noise, a full bladder, or an anxious thought. And let's not forget about the brain itself. As we grow older, parts of the brain involved in regulating sleep, especially the hypothalamus, may lose some of their function. This isn't disease. It's part of the natural aging process. But it affects everything from how long it takes to fall asleep, to how deeply we sleep, to how refreshed we feel in the morning. So no, you're not imagining it. Sleep does change with age, but that doesn't mean it has to be poor. Understanding these changes is the first step toward adapting your habits and environment to support better rest. Let's pause here and imagine Robert. He's 76. He's noticed that even when he goes to bed at p.m., he wakes up at 3:30 a.m. alert, hungry, and unable to fall back asleep. He feels frustrated, wondering why his body won't cooperate. But when Robert learns about the changes in melatonin and circadian rhythm, it clicks. His body is still following a rhythm, just one that's shifted. With this awareness, he starts adjusting his routine, going to bed earlier, using light therapy in the morning, and avoiding screens at night. Within weeks, he's waking up later and sleeping better. Our goal in this video is to help you do the same. Up next, we'll talk about the specific disorders that can disturb your sleep and how to recognize them before they take a bigger toll. But first, let's visualize some of the key changes we just discussed. Not all sleep problems are the same, and not all of them come simply from aging. Some are specific sleep disorders, with clear signs, causes, and treatments. And the sooner they're identified, the better the outcomes. Let's begin with the most common, insomnia. Insomnia isn't just trouble sleeping, it's defined as difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking too early combined with daytime impairment. And in older adults, it's often linked to stress, pain, medications, or grief. Chronic insomnia can lead to irritability, depression, memory issues, and even increased risk of falls. Now imagine Evelyn. She's 79. She lost her husband 2 years ago and has lived alone since. She goes to bed feeling exhausted but lies awake for hours, unable to quiet her mind. Her doctor prescribed sleeping pills, but now she feels even foggier during the day. This cycle of poor sleep and poor alertness is draining her confidence. Then there's sleep apnea, a serious disorder that causes repeated pauses in breathing during sleep. These pauses can happen dozens or even hundreds of times a night, often without the person realizing it. Common signs include loud snoring, gasping for air, morning headache, mouth, excessive daytime sleepiness. Sleep apnea is especially dangerous because it raises the risk of heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, and cognitive decline. And yet many older adults go years without diagnosis, assuming they're just tired because they're older. Now let's talk about a lesser-known issue, restless legs syndrome, or RLS. It causes an irresistible urge to move the legs, especially in the evening. Some describe it as crawling, tingling, or burning sensations. It makes it hard to fall asleep, and even harder to stay asleep. Finally, we have excessive daytime sleepiness, a sign that something's not right. It may be a result of poor nighttime sleep or an undiagnosed disorder. In older adults, it often goes unnoticed, chalked up to just being tired. But here's the truth: sleep disorders are medical conditions. They're not personality flaws, and many of them are treatable, often without heavy medication. The first step is awareness. In the next segment, we'll explore what happens when these sleep problems persist and the real toll they take on the body and mind. But first, let's visualize these disorders through real-life moments. Sleep is not just about rest. It's about repair, regulation, protection, memory, mood, immunity, energy, longevity. When sleep is consistently poor, the effects go far beyond feeling tired. Let's start with the brain. Poor sleep impacts memory, attention, and decision-making. In older adults, it's a major risk factor for cognitive decline and dementia, including Alzheimer's disease. Aging brains rely even more on deep sleep to clean up the waste proteins that build up during the day. Without it, the cleanup doesn't happen, and over time, the damage accumulates. Then there's the emotional toll. Lack of sleep is strongly linked to depression, anxiety, and irritability. Small frustrations feel enormous. Loneliness deepens, and confidence starts to erode, especially when memory falters or words won't come. Your immune system also suffers. Even a single night of disrupted sleep reduces the body's ability to fight infection. In the long term, it raises the risk of chronic inflammation, a silent force behind heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and even cancer. And then there's the risk of falling. Sleep deprivation weakens balance, coordination, and reaction time. It's one of the most under-recognized causes of falls in seniors, and falls can mean broken bones, hospitalizations, or a permanent loss of independence. Let's revisit Margaret. She used to love gardening, but after several nights of poor sleep, she began forgetting her tools, misplacing items, and feeling dizzy when standing up. She stopped going outside, not because she wanted to, but because she was afraid. And yet, no one connected the dots. They didn't realize her bad nights were silently reshaping her days. When sleep declines, so does quality of life. But when sleep improves, so does everything else. In the next section, we'll explore what's getting in the way of that restful night and how to remove those hidden barriers, one by one. Sometimes it's not the body, it's the environment. And sometimes it's not even about falling asleep. It's about what's preventing your brain from staying asleep. Let's break it down. First, the bedroom itself. Too much light, too much noise, too warm, too cold. Even a blinking device charger or a humming refrigerator can keep the brain on alert, especially in older adults whose sleep becomes lighter with age. Then there's technology. TV before bed, scrolling through phones. Bright screens emit blue light, which blocks melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep. And yet, many older adults rely on TV for company at night, especially when living alone. Next, daily habits. Long naps during the day can throw off the sleep schedule. Late cups of coffee or tea, even decaf, might be more stimulating than you realize. Eating too close to bedtime, especially heavy meals, can lead to reflux and discomfort. Now let's talk about medications. Many drugs commonly prescribed to seniors for high blood pressure, depression, asthma, and even over-the-counter cold remedies can interfere with sleep. Some cause drowsiness but lead to fragmented sleep. Others increase nighttime urination or vivid dreams. And we cannot ignore pain. Chronic joint pain, neuropathy, or postural discomfort can make it nearly impossible to stay asleep. Even if you don't fully wake up, your sleep gets disrupted and you don't feel rested. Let's revisit Evelyn. After months of insomnia, she realized she was drinking tea at p.m., watching intense news on TV in bed, and taking medication that listed sleep disturbance as a side effect. When she adjusted her routine, turning off the TV earlier, switching to herbal infusions, and consulting her doctor about her prescriptions, her nights began to improve. Lastly, emotions. Grief, anxiety, loneliness, they don't disappear at night. In fact, that's when they get louder. And for many seniors, silence in the dark is when the mind begins to race. But here's the hopeful part. Most of these barriers are modifiable. With a little awareness and support, sleep can become a peaceful part of your day again, not a battle. In the next section, we'll walk you through natural strategies that work gently, gradually, and safely to improve your sleep without relying on pills. But first, let's see these nightly obstacles through real-life lenses. You don't need sleeping pills to sleep well. In fact, for many older adults, medication only masks the problem without addressing the cause. The good news is, natural strategies work. They may take time, but they are gentle, sustainable, and proven by science. Let's begin with the foundation: sleep hygiene. It's not about being clean, it's about creating the right conditions for deep, uninterrupted rest. Start with your routine. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Your brain thrives on rhythm. If you nap during the day, keep it short, under 30 minutes, and never after 3 p.m. Next, light exposure. Get natural sunlight in the morning. Even 15 minutes can reset your circadian clock. In the evening, dim the lights. Turn off bright screens an hour before bed. Consider warm, amber lighting and blackout curtains for your bedroom. Now think about your pre-sleep ritual. This is where Margaret made the biggest change. She started a calming routine. At 8:30 p.m., she takes a warm shower, drinks chamomile tea, and plays soft instrumental music. She reads not the news, but poetry. By 9:30, her mind is quiet, her body is relaxed, and her sleep begins naturally. Movement helps too. Gentle exercises like walking, tai chi, or stretching during the day can improve sleep quality. Avoid vigorous activity close to bedtime. It wakes the body up. And don't underestimate the power of calming the mind. Breathing exercises, guided meditations, prayer, gratitude journaling all help signal the brain it's time to let go. Let's talk about herbal supports. Some people find relief with chamomile, lemon balm, or valerian root teas. Magnesium supplements, under medical guidance, can help relax muscles and nerves. Lavender oil in a diffuser can create a soothing atmosphere. But remember, natural doesn't mean harmless. Always check with a doctor or pharmacist, especially if you're taking other medications. Finally, create a bedroom that invites sleep. Cool, dark, quiet. Use earplugs, sleep masks, white noise, whatever makes you feel safe and undisturbed. Remove clutter and turn the bed into a space only for rest and intimacy, not for watching TV or checking emails. These strategies aren't about perfection, they're about consistency. Small, simple actions repeated daily can retrain your body and mind to sleep well again. In our final content block, we'll help you recognize when it's time to ask for help and how to speak with your doctor about your sleep without fear or shame. But first, let's see these natural practices through powerful visual stories. There's a point when trying harder isn't enough. When sleep remains poor despite your best efforts. When you feel foggy, down, or off balance during the day. When your nights are filled with gasping, twitching, or constant wake-ups. That's the time to talk to your doctor. But many older adults don't. Why? Because they think it's just part of aging. Because they don't want to bother the doctor. Because they're afraid of being prescribed sleeping pills. Or worse, because they think there's nothing that can be done. But here's the truth. Your sleep matters. And there are professionals trained to help. So what are the signs it's time to seek help? You've had trouble sleeping at least 3 nights a week for over a month. You feel persistently tired, irritable, or depressed. You wake up gasping or choking. You snore loudly and feel unrefreshed in the morning. You fall asleep during conversations or passive activity. You also have had a fall or near fall linked to grogginess or fatigue. If any of these sound familiar, it's time to act. Now, how do you talk to your doctor? Be specific. Keep a sleep diary for 1 to 2 weeks. What time you go to bed? How often you wake? What time you get up? How you feel during the day. List all medications and supplements. Note if you snore, move your legs, or wake to use the bathroom. Bring this information to your appointment and ask questions. Could this be sleep apnea? Are any of my medications affecting my sleep? Are there non-drug treatments I could try first? Should I see a sleep specialist? You deserve to be heard. If your provider dismisses your concerns, don't give up. Seek a second opinion. Talk to a geriatrician or a sleep medicine doctor. Let's go back to Robert. After months of early awakenings and brain fog, he brought his sleep diary to his appointment. His doctor referred him for a sleep study. Turns out Robert had moderate sleep apnea. Now he uses a SPAP device, and for the first time in years, he wakes up feeling clear and steady. The sooner you act, the sooner you can reclaim your energy, your clarity, and your joy. Now, let's look at the signs and the strength it takes to ask for help. You deserve to sleep well. Not because it's a luxury, but because it's a basic human need. And yes, even in older age, good sleep is possible. Too often we hear, that's just how it is when you get old. But that's not the full story. What if your fatigue isn't from aging but from poor sleep? What if your forgetfulness, your low mood, your dizziness are actually symptoms of nights spent tossing, turning, or waking too early? Sleep shapes everything. When you sleep well, your body heals, your brain resets, your mood lifts, your strength returns, your focus sharpens, and life slowly, gently feels lighter. You don't have to fix everything at once. Tonight, choose one small change. Dim your lights after dinner. Drink a calming tea. Turn off the news. Write down one worry and leave it on the page. Set a time to sleep and honor it, as you would a promise to someone you love. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of rest. And no matter your age, you can reclaim the nights and wake to brighter mornings. Because deep, healing sleep is not a dream. It's your right. Thank you for watching, and may tonight be better than the last.